What's going on, guys? STF Gaming here, and today we're going to be taking a look at the April 2005 GOAT format deck. A lot of you know this as GOAT Control. It's a really fun deck to go back on and play. 13 years old. I think everyone knows what it is by now. You see a lot of people playing it online or at your locals or whatever. This is my updated build. I haven't played in quite a while, but I think this is the build that I'm really liking at the moment. I try not to change it up too much from the past, because I think that's a bit unfair. Just follow the decks that are good. Follow the decks that did good then. Don't try and update them, right? So yeah, you won't see too many crazy changes to the deck from past decks. So yeah, we're gonna take a look at the deck. If you guys want to hear my explanations on why I play certain cards, we're going to get into that now. Alright guys, so on to the explanations. First off, we got Magical Merchant. It's level 1, just like we need for Metamorphosis. This is going to let us summon Thousand Eyes, restrict the whole bunch. And it's going to put Lights in the Grave for our BLS, and as well as mill Lights and Darks and Sinister Serpents, and get us to good spells. So I think 1 is fine. You don't want to run more than that, because it's low stats, can get pierced into by all the pierce monsters. It's not super good. It floats, gets you the spell, puts Lights in Grave, and you don't have too many lights in your deck. 2 Magician of Faith, not going to explain these guys too much. You get the Serpent. Try and keep this in your hand and play around Delinquent Duo. Not much to say else than that. Morphing Jar, pretty sweet card this format, if you know how to play it right. There's a lot of plays you can do with this. You could set Morphing Jar in Bottomless Trap Hole, and then your opponent summons a Breaker, you bottomless it, the next turn you set your whole hand and flip the Morphing Jar or something. Or you could set a whole bunch of good spells Graceful Charity, Pot of Greed, Heavy Storm, and set a random monster like a Tsukiyomi. Your opponent's going to think you have Morphing Jar, they're going to play into it, set their whole back row, they're going to attack your monster, it's nothing. Then next turn you can play the Pot of Greed, Graceful, and then Heavy, but obviously that's a really specific situation where your opponent probably had to use Heavy already for that to even be a play. 2 Tsukiyomi. I go on and off between 1 and 2. I do really only like 1, but when this gets discarded by a Reaper or a Delinquent Duo, it's just nice to have the other one. It's a really good card, this format. I mean, even though you can search it with Sengen, it's just the perfect out to Thousand Eyes. It's really good with your Ceasefire, which is in the deck. We'll talk about that later. Really good against every monster, like these guys where you can't get over sometimes. But I could see putting this down to 1 to maybe add a Dust Tornado or something. Next up you get Sengen, searches everything. DD War Lady, light monster, good effect. Tribe, removal. Breaker, removal. 3 Exarion. I would consider my build a very aggressive version of GOAT format, GOAT Control. So yeah, we get the 3 Exarion, huge defensive wall. So that's what I'm going to be doing with this a lot of the time. I'm going to be setting it, but when I have the opportunities, I'm going to put an attack mode in and get some swings in. Really good with Ceasefire. We're going to talk about Ceasefire later. It's one of my favorite cards in the deck. Pretty underrated card, this format. You got the 2 Tribute Monsters. Air Knights, obviously, you can find a spot for Air Knight. I'm going to be discarding this a lot off of Graceful. And trying to premature it or call it, because I don't want to tribute any of the monsters in my deck except for a Metamorphosis. They're all really good monsters. Jinzo, not the greatest card this format. You get cards like Book of Moon, Econ, Enemy Controller, Thousand Eyes Restrict. Just a lot of answers to Jinzo, but at the end of the day, it is 2400 attack. It can run over everything this format. Your opponent can't activate traps against it, so it's going to get the swing in. Just a really good card for that reason. Again, you can discard it off of Graceful and try and premature it or call it. Then you get the BLS. It's easy to summon in a deck like this. There's not too many lights, so it's not going to be summonable early, but it's not like you want to summon it early anyway most of the time, unless you can win. 3 Metamorphosis, I like 3. I have experimented with 1, 2, 3, 0. I like 3. Even if you don't want to run scapegoats, I would still consider running 3 because you got the Serpent, the Magician of Faith, the Magical Merchant, you got the Snatch Steal to take your opponent's monsters. No matter what you take, it's probably a good idea to metamorphose it. It's just really versatile in the deck. Even if it sits in your hand for a while, you got the other cards that can, control the game until there's a good time to use this. So just really good card in this format. Get the Thousand Eyes Restrict and control the board that way. 2 Scapegoat, don't like 3, it's kind of clunky. A lot of time this is going to be filling your board. It's not like people are running Reaper as much as they did in the past because of the Exarion. Exarion's just so good against Reaper, so you don't see people running Reaper, and I think this is what this is really good against is Reaper, but it's good against Creature Swap and stuff. A lot of times this is going to clog your board, but it's just a nice card to have in the format. In your deck, just a good out to everything. 2 Nomens, in my opinion, best spell in the format aside from the trio, Pot of Greed, Graceful, and Delinquent Duo. I guess you could include Heavy in there too. But yeah, these cards, great. Don't need to explain these cards. But yeah, just really good against anything that's set. Don't always want to use it right away because your opponent might bluff their first monster. They might set like a Exarion. Maybe you don't want to kill an Exarion with this. Maybe you want to kill a Magician of Faith, get those out of the game, or Morphing Jar. Definitely against Morphing Jar. Morphing Jar is annoying. These guys, no need to explain how to play against them. Just be patient with your MST and Dust Tornadoes, and you can kill them. MST, like I said, be patient with it. There's only 1 in your deck. You can get it back with Magician, so yeah. Book of Moon, good out to everything. Jinzo, Thousand Eyes Restrict. When you're getting attacked for game, Air Knight Parshat, just good against everything. Good against Ring of Destruction. I like to save this card for Ring almost all the time. I just like to be patient, get my swings in when I can. Always play around Ring. It's the most annoying card of this format, so Book of Moon is there to play around Ring. Econ, this is another reason why my deck's really aggressive. Not a super popular card this format. Some people run Lightning Vortex, and some people run Double Book. Some people run the Econ. I like the Econ. I contribute my Scapegoats, get some swings in. It just helps you push. It's a defensive card when it needs to be. I can sacrifice my Scapegoat, take their monster, sacrifice it for a Jinzo or Air Knight, stuff like that. Just versatile card. Always like it in all the old formats. It just fits in really well. Alright, Ceasefire. Let's get into some combos with Ceasefire. Excuse me. I thought I was going to sneeze. Alright, so let's say your opponent... Let's say some reason Jinzo's set and your opponent activates a trap card. Well, a cool combo is they activate the trap card, you can Ceasefire the Jinzo, and the trap card's negated because he's face up now. Another cool combo would be maybe your opponent wants to Nobleman your face down, you Ceasefire, no, it's not dead. Not the greatest with your flip spell, with your flip monsters because they're negated, but with Exarion it works really good. And we run 3 Exarion. Another example, set Tsukiyomi. Your opponent wants to attack over Tsukiyomi, or maybe they summon Thousand Eyes. Ceasefire, the Tsukiyomi flips up. From there you can use Tsukiyomi's effect because it's not a flip effect, it's just when she's flipped face up. So her effect will trigger. You can either flip her face down again, flip down your opponent's Thousand Eyes, stuff like that. So yeah, it's really good with Sangan too in case they no men. But yeah, so again, an aggro version of the deck. I can get some heavy damage in out of nowhere with this card. Good against No Man. Good with these 3 cards especially, like I told you guys. It's really good with these 3 cards. And yeah, that's why I run Ceasefire. Call, Mirror Force, Torrential, Ring. I'm not going to explain these at all. They're just staples. And then Saku and Bottomless. Not everyone runs Bottomless this format, but it's pretty good. I like it. I see a lot of decks run 2 Saku. I'm not too opposed to that, but Exarion is everywhere. Yeah, so some cards I'm always considering to add to this deck are Berserk Gorilla, and Dust Tornado and Lightning Vortex. Those are the big three. I always try to find room, so every time I play a game, I think, what card didn't do too well? Maybe I'll cut that for one of those 3 cards. Yeah, so that's the deck profile, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and stay tuned for more videos. And don't forget to comment down below what decks you want to see next.